Hello? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dominic Sicali, Mafia Roundtable Live. I am pissed. My team had me waiting. Could you believe that? Now we had everybody else waiting. Had some technical difficulties. Still might have some, but it is what it is. I'd like to thank our sponsor, EG Vodka. Go to egvodka.com. Have your vodka drop shipped to you. Excellent vodka, really good. That's the problem with today's shoot. That's why we're late. My team usually on Fridays is drinking the vodka. They're feeling good. Today nobody had zero vodka. Everybody's straight. So we're going to have a messed up production because of that. Usually when they're drinking, it's much better. No, just joking. But go to egvodka.com. Order your vodka. Great tasting vodka. Today we're going to touch on a few different topics. First off, I'm going to talk about, a lot of people asking about Canada. Canada was always part of the Bonanno crime family. And when I met up with Vinny and Bruno, they were actually bringing in marijuana into the States from Canada. And they also had some ecstasy pills. Some ecstasy pills, a few 100,000, maybe 500,000 pills. And they were all in a garage where we used to keep our motorcycles. And just keep this story short, one time Vinny has me, he says, "Hey Dom, go pick up all the ecstasy pills and I need you to meet the people in Canada because they're going to bring down another shipment of marijuana." So of course I'm saying okay, but in the back of my mind I'm saying, what the fuck, I'm taking all these pills. If I get caught with them, I have a life sentence and I never even made a penny off of this shit. Like, to ask somebody to do a favor to catch them a life sentence, it was crazy, and that did cross my mind. But, you know, I was a good soldier back then, did what I had to do. Took the pills, met the older couple, and it was funny because when they were transporting the marijuana down, it was an old man and an old lady. They looked like grandparents in like an SUV, not even an SUV, a minivan. They were coming down. So I met with them, gave them the pills back. We set up for more future distribution as far as bringing in the marijuana. And I also gave them cash that Vinny and Bruno owed them as well. But those stories will be for a later date. Also, we'll talk about Vinny and the type of guy he was. And again, I'm putting stories out there about him, not knocking the guy. And I still look up to him for the way he acted and conducted himself on the street, even though I did cooperate against him, is what it is at the end of the day. But this one time, somebody had asked a question about L-Jam's Lumberyard. And there was an altercation in there, something about, I think it was with Al Fiello, who has an electrical company, who was around Vinny. So Vinny went to El Jams. It was owned by the Esposito brothers. And Vinny's in the main office. And I think he got into it with Joey Esposito. And he's yelling. They're going back and forth. Now, the Espositos also had a lot of kids. And I'm think it was Nikki Esposito, heard Vinny yelling, I don't think he was aggressive from what I heard, but whatever the case was, he heard Vinny yelling, comes into the office, and back then, if you don't know the person, everybody clicks up real quick. So he cold cocks Vinny, knocked Vinny out. I'm not sure if he was out cold or he just lost consciousness for a few seconds and then got up. But Vinny was the type of guy, and this kid was sticking up for his uncle or his father. I'm not sure what was the case, but Vinny didn't do anything afterwards. Vinny understood. Like, the guy did not know. So Vinny gave him a pass. Because, if Vinny really would have thought that this Esposito knew who Vinny was and still put his hands on him, Vinny would have definitely killed him. And then there was another time. Vinny's out one night drinking. We're in a bar. They're in a bar. I wasn't there. On East Tremont. He's with his girlfriend, Debbie. And Vinny used to go around with Debbie and some of her girlfriends. At the time, there might have been 3 or 4 girls all together. And Vinny by himself, dressed up, nice sports jacket, hanging out. Now, after coming home from the city, they stopped at a local bar on East Tremont to have a nightcap. So while Vinny's in there, the pool table, jukebox is going, they're going back and forth. I guess Vinny got into an argument with somebody. All of a sudden, Vinny gets knocked out cold. That they actually took Vinny out of the place. When he came to, wound up taking him home and everything. The next day, Vinny found out that the guy who knocked him out was gay. And it just happened, it's still a man, doesn't matter, but he wound up knocking him out. So when Vinny was telling me the story about it, he said, Bo, what am I going to do? He knocked me out. The guy didn't know me. And again, Vinny had said, if that motherfucker knew me and knew who I was and put his hands on me, I would have took him out quick, especially because he was gay. It's embarrassing, but Vinny had a lot of self-confidence in himself, and but he did have a glass jaw. So, and that doesn't make him a bad person. It's just his makeup. But he'd fight King Kong. And I know we've been into fights with other people, even him, where we're fighting groups of guys. I never got knocked out in front of me, but he always stayed close to me when we were fighting. So, if anybody has questions, hope you like just a little short tidbit. We'll go into more stories later on. See if we have any questions, if somebody wants to ask questions. If not, I could go into another story. Keep it real light today. Lee?
There is a question. It says, this is a simple one for you.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
What's your biggest drug deal that you did, and how much did you make off of it?
Oh, my biggest drug deal? I think it was about 32,000 tons I brought in, and I made $300 billion off that deal. No, I'm just joking. My biggest drug deal. My biggest drug transaction was probably 2 kilograms that I purchased. And that was maybe at the time about $60,000 that I paid for it. And that's when we were breaking up our drugs. And just so everybody knows, myself and my former partner, Michael Sullivan, when we were kids, and I'm going back maybe 18, 19 years old, we were selling quarter grams, half grams, ounces, 8 balls, half 8 balls. 8 balls, 3.5 grams. We were taking kilos, breaking it down, and we were doing about 3 kilos a week in loose, just breaking it up, selling it. But that was back in the day before DEA was even in our neighborhood. So I would say that was my biggest transaction. I would say, yeah, that was my biggest transaction. Next.
Just a shout out to Eric Lewis. It's his birthday today.
Hey, Eric, happy birthday. Have a wonderful day. Don't drink too much. And if you do, get EG vodka, great vodka. Or Champagne D-Rock. He'll rock you. Nah, that's good too, but good.
Okay,
Maddie.
from Joey. Did you ever have any dealings with Lenny DeMaria?
Di Maria?
Di Maria.
No, not off the top of my head. I don't think so. I think we probably missed each other.
George Rees, hey Dom, I hope this question isn't too personal, but how did your family react or take to you cooperating with Uncle Sam?
Good question. And no, listen, I'm fair game. Whatever you want to ask, I'm here. I'll answer. Mother supported me 1,000%. My mother, listen, and wait till I tell you a story about with Quiet Dom's son. My mother asking me where I buried the body. My mother, throughout the years, I burnt the woman out. Just with all my antics, I drove her crazy. But she always had my support. Whatever I could do no wrong with my mother, and my wife will attest to that one. A lot of my family, they don't bother with me. They don't talk with me, and I'm okay with that, whether it be for their safety reasons or their feelings about it. And there's a few. I don't understand why they would stick up for Vinny and the mob so much when the mafia never did anything for them. And it is what it is, but I made my choice, and that's it. As long as I have my children, my mother, my grandparents meant the world to me. Oh, and by the way, too, before my father passed away, they gave me a phone call when he was in the hospital before he went unconscious and everything. And he just told me, he said, first off, I apologize. He said, don't apologize for anything, And this was basically the first time he sincerely says, I love you. You're my son. And I never heard that growing up from my father. Maybe only when he drank or he was drunk. But he said, they all looked at everybody else. As far as what Vinny did to me, what Joe Messino did. Michael knows what he was doing out there. Him and another guy, high-ranking member in organized crime, they felt the same way. And he referred to that. And I said, Dad, those are excuses, but I have no excuse. I shouldn't have did what I did. No, but it's wrong the way they treated you. But he accepted it at the end, and I was shocked by that, maybe because he was dying and he wanted to make peace with me and finally let me know he loved me. But other than that, it is what it is. Next question, please.
Thank you for your contribution, Alexander Wilson. Anthony Donato was just released to a halfway house. Do you have an opinion on a lot of people in your former life getting released?
Anthony Donato, loved the guy, great guy. And I feel bad when I cooperated because Anthony Donato was about to take a plea deal. I think it was for 7 years. And then after I cooperated, he was stuck. He wound up getting, I think, 20 years or 25 years because of my cooperation. And it broke my heart. I loved Anthony, great family, wife, children. But Anthony is also a dangerous guy to boot. And I just hope he's smart enough, he's seen enough, that he stays away from that life. I wish him the best, and hopefully he doesn't get mixed in with Michael Nose and company. Because if he does, it'll be a revolving door for him.
All right, so I got 2 questions. The first one's quick and easy. Did you get a new pit bull puppy yet?
No, and that's probably from Bella, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Bella. No, we didn't get one yet. Actually, now I'm shifting over maybe a Cane Corso and a Dogo Argentino. So those are 2. We're talking about getting 2 at the same time. So we raise them together. And especially now, the ones we have now are older. They could actually help train the younger ones. So, and part 2?
This is another question from somebody else. Is what was your gun of choice to carry?
My gun of choice, I loved, as a kid, the Colt 45 government issued. It was a big, heavy gun. But when you pulled it out on somebody looking at that barrel, I mean, it was really intimidating. And then if you had to hit somebody with the gun, you're doing some damage. Aside from that, 380s are a nice weapon of choice too because they're small, compact at that time. So I would say the 45 was my gun of choice.
Ryan Brown, thank you for your contribution. Dom, hope you're doing well. Some questions I have. I know you knew Bruno in Delicato. Did you also know Tommy Pitera?
Tommy Patera. No, I never knew Tommy. I heard of Tommy. I know he, and this is weird to say, but Tommy, from what I heard, used to be scared shit of Bruno and idolized Bruno. I guess growing up, they were both on Mulberry Street. But Tommy was a stone cold killer, from what I heard. Stand-up guy. Obviously, he's doing life in prison. And I just heard when they would party, they partied heavy, had a good time in their younger days. But Tommy Patera, from what I heard, was just a homicidal maniac.
Okay. He also finished with, also two rappers I love are Jelly Roll. Have you heard from them?
Oh, who?
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll, no. I thought you meant to do the Jelly Roll. No, I have not heard from them. Actually, I had a rap group before I got locked up. Arabian Night was our producer. One of the artists, LG. I had Cardi, rapper Cardi. Donnie was our female. And I have those tunes somewhere, so I'm going to be releasing them. And they were fire. Before I got locked up, they won Rap Battle Bands of Connecticut on the rap station. So they were about to explode. We were about to get them to a different level. And at the time, too, I even sat down with Junior Mafia. We were going to look to collaborate something, even with Cuba Links. But I'm going back many years with all that.
Okay, Pasta Patate, thank you for your contribution. Dom, did you ever hear anything about the murder of Patsy Perello's son? And did people look down on him for not retaliating?
Actually, this is the first I'm hearing of it. No, I didn't hear anything about that murder. And so I can't say about him retaliating. However, if it is true that he knows and he didn't retaliate, that's not a good sign, especially the son. That's why even with Bruno, when I say he never retaliated with his father, with Joe Messino, and Bruno's a man's man. I'm not talking bad about him. It was his choice. But if that was Vinny, if Vinny was in Bruno's shoes, Joe Messina would have been dead a long time ago. Vinny would have definitely snuck him, waited to the right moment, which was when I was out there, we were out there, and Vinny would have just made his move. But everybody's different.
The next question is from Willie. Is there anything good a young man can learn from a bit of time in prison?
Yes, there's a lot of good things. I know my first bid when I was in the state of Florida, I was getting to the mindset, working out, getting in shape, and then just thinking about what I'm going to do when I'm released. And lo and behold, I got released and I got caught up in a drug case. And you'll be hearing about that case. I'll probably release it on Tuesday for Tuesday's podcast. Got released and then I wound up going back in. And this time I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do things legit. I'll set up things legit. Even though I got out, no. I was doing illegal things, but 90% of what I was doing was legit. The other 10% was illegal. So you do get your mind in order. Some people don't. They just come out with a chip on their shoulder and they're going to put a gun in their hand and do what they have to do. Jail can help you, and then again, it can lead you to a more destructive life once you're out there.
From Danny F. Any dealings with Mikey Scars? I find him to be the most credible former mob guy this far that I have seen on YouTube. Really good person as well.
I never had any dealings with Mikey Scars. When I was away, I heard just stories about him in the system. When he was sick, because I think at one time he was sick while housed at MCC New York, wasn't feeling well. On the street, really, I'm talking the street now. Haven't heard anything about him. Just a few stories, which just are irrelevant to these topics. Does seem like a nice guy. Really, I have no opinions. I don't know him personally, and I never really had any interactions. And in life, even myself included, you can't please everybody in life. So you're gonna have people that dislike you. You're gonna have people that like you. So at the end of the day, I can't give an opinion because I don't know him personally.
All right. Arthur Ricario is asking, who is your favorite wise guy in each family?
Favorite wise guy in each family. I'm going to pick two. Genovese. Well, Genovese has a lot of good ones. I'll do top three. Big Ernie, Quiet Dom, and Tough Tony from Parkside. Columbo's Tommy Schatz. Lucchese's. That's a tough one. I'll come back to Luke. Lucchese's. Louis Didone. Louis Didone, Anthony Bowat, and Sally Avellino. Who else we have? The Gambinos. I would have to say Mickey Boy Paradiso and Alfonsiska Funzi. Arnold too. I like Arnold Squitieri, but I'd say Mickey Boy and Funzi. Also, you know what? Fat Andy was a piss. I had a great time with him. I liked him as well. And then the Bonanos, of course, Bruno, Vinny. And that should be it. I think I hit the 5.
What about the Bonanos?
I just said it.
Oh, you did?
See?
Wasn't paying attention.
See, that's because you went to go look for a pit bull.
1247, you're going to ask that one. 1247, please tell us a story about Louis Bagels and his personality.
Louis Bagels, we would break his balls on a regular basis when we were in Allenwood. Especially it was cold, so we have those light jackets on, and Louis, we'd use a scarf. We would take our white towels, which are about this long, So Louis would wear it around his neck, come down, hair perfect, and we say, "Hey, John," like call him John Gotti. We had more fun with him. Here Comes Louis Runway was another one we gave him. Great sport, great guy. I mean, took it well. Never one time, even when he would get mad, never showed who he was, his position. Just took it on the chin. You could see when he gets mad, like he would just shy away, not say anything. Best racquetball player I've seen on a single wall in jail. Great racquetball player. Loved him. Great guy.
All right, so this is from Alexander Wilson. Thank you for the contribution. It says, Francesi said he knows Joe Messino for over 50 years and said his 2000s and 2010s testimony were pull fabrication. Is he correct or not?
I don't know. It could be. I know Joe Messino fabricated killing the prosecutor. That was Vinny Basciano's idea, which it wasn't. And I told the government that Joe is the one that initiated it. I'd never read his testimony. I'd never seen the testimony, so I can't respond to that. So, but I'm not a fan of Joe's either, if that helps in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you, contribution FL 2396. Do you know the membership caps for each of the 5 families, or at least some of them?
There are no caps. What it was when I was out there, you have 5 guys that you could straighten out every year. And they tried implementing a rule. I think it was the Gambinos. They said, well, if you don't straighten out the 5, you lose them. And Vinny was adamant. And they said, no, you don't lose them. You get to, if you only straighten out 2 guys that year, then the following year, you'll have 8 to straighten out. And Vinny was very sharp, and he even told him, he said, let me ask you something. I could straighten out 1,000 guys right now. Why would you put me in a position where I'm going to just straighten anybody out, people that don't deserve it, just to get my numbers up? Don't you want quality in the life? And Vinny was right. So they wound up agreeing with him as far as that you don't lose it. Because Vinny was also, listen, we have 3 guys coming home from jail that deserve to be straightened out. So I'm going to straighten out garbage before I do them, and they'll be out the following year. So he made some good points with that. But at the time, it was 5 guys a year was the cap. And that was it. But, if there's some crime families that had maybe 250 made guys, some 180, 200. It varied, but it's not because you have 250 now we're going to get 250. No, I know when I was in the life, it was 5 guys a year that could be straightened out. If you don't use them, if you don't straighten, if you straighten no guys out for that year, the following year you have 10.
All right, so the next question is from the dishonest Jeff Sokol. Dom, do you regret switching from the Genovese family to the Bonanno? From the outside, it seems the Genovese are the family to be with.
Yes, they are. Of course, hindsight, I'm going to say yes, I regret. But I had a lot of good times with Vinny, Bruno, a lot of laughs. I was happy where I was at. Towards the end, it was just, again, if Vinny keeps his mouth shut, doesn't talk about things we did. Remember, these weren't orders by Joe Massino. We went on our own and killed people behind Joe Massino's back. That in itself could get you killed. So if we're doing that, we kill somebody. So when Joe Massino asked Vinny, who killed the guy in the Bronx? Vinny should have said, I don't know. The guy made a comment about my son. I'm not going to kill him. It's just a comment, Joe. But he was out there doing drugs. Somebody killed him and left it at that. We never get arrested. Never get arrested. So hindsight, of course, I'm going to say the Genovese, but I was happy as a Bonanno.
From Ryan Brown. Thank you. Do you know how Louis Haha Atanasio get his nickname? I've heard 2 different stories. He laughed when he killed guys. He laughed when guys died.
I don't know about that. I never asked, guys' nicknames. That could be true. Possibly not, but I did meet Louis in MDC Brooklyn when we were at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Vinny Basciano introduced me to him. Seemed like a really nice guy, straight up guy. I know he was living in Florida, came in. I don't know if he's released now. He should be home now, but I heard he was one of the top guys in the Bonanno, but basically got out of the New York area and moved down to, I'm pretty sure, Florida at one time just to get away from the BS. Made a ton of money from what I heard.
All right, the next question is from Danny Epp. Have you ever run into any made guys since you cooperated?
Actually, yes, I did. There was somebody's birthday party out in Tampa, and there were a few made guys who cooperated. Then there was some made guys there that still didn't cooperate. They were still part of their life. And I'm not going to mention names. I'm not blowing anybody up. But yeah, it happens. I was introduced to everybody, not as a friend, just, hey, so-and-so, this is Dominic. Hey, so-and-so, this is Dominic. And that was it. But everybody knew who I was at that event. And it's different times nowadays. Again, you have guys like myself who cooperate, running the streets of New York, making money with made guys who didn't cooperate, and they're accepting it. So shame on them. So that puts me in a better light. Ratting? So at least I did what I did and I'm standing strong. I'm not accepting a rat saying, well, I don't like rats, but you're taking money from them. You're hanging out with them. So that makes you 10 times worse, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Alexander Wilson, for your contribution. Do you have any info on Jerry Capici's story last year about the Bonanno Brawl at the wake with Joe C., Mikey Nose, and the biker gang?
My opinion with that, everybody knows it's out there. Number one, what Michael Nose did and what he ordered, the Michael Nose didn't do anything but give an order. Total buffoon. He should never look to disrupt a wake, especially you have all families, you have mothers there. You know what? And I'll put myself out there. If that was me, if I was Joe Camerano Jr., and my mother, my in-laws, my kids were at a wake, and Michael Knowles did that, I'd get Michael. I would, if that was me and I was still in that life, I would have killed Michael would have been gone the next day. And I don't care. Because now you're disrupting my family. God forbid somebody would have got hurt with my family. I'm taking you out, brother. So that was the most stupidest, ignorant move. That just shows the guy has no concept of the life, wants to showboat, smile on Instagram, showing his cap teeth with his hair plugs that he got before I went out. It's just a total buffoon. Total buffoon.
All right, the next question is from Ryan Brown, another contribution. Thank you. Do you remember who also straightened out with you at I'm guessing your ceremony? Are they still alive and active? If not, what happened to them?
Best of my knowledge, yes, everybody is still alive. It was little Patty boy, little Patty. Loved him, great guy. He was close to Michael. Michael Knowles put him in with Patty DiFilippo. And I think there was about two more guys. I think Vito was one of them. I don't even remember the last names. And somebody else. I think there was four of us that evening.
From Tony Mack. You buy your Z Cavaricis at the Voice of Fashion.
Z Cavaricis. I couldn't afford Cavaricis when I was a kid. Go figure. You know what? Everybody back then had the members only jackets. I had to be one of the only kids in the neighborhood. I didn't have a members only jacket. My mother went out and got me one of those fake, like it might have said Starlight, but it looked like a members only jacket. I would never wear it. It sat in the closet. Would never wear it. Was embarrassed, but I just never had a members only jacket. So Cavaricis, no, I didn't wear them.
The next question is from Larry Lapper, and contribution, thank you. Any dealings, street or prison, with the Purple Gang?
Yes. Vinny and I, when Michael Melnish came home, we sat down with him. We were in Rayo's a bunch of times. Joey Melnish was also in the neighborhood guy. Knew my father very well. They would hang out. So yeah, had a lot of interactions with those two Purple Gangs, and supposedly Michael Knowles was part of the Purple Gang. We'll hear the same old story. They did have a lot of bodies. Michael Knowles wasn't even part of it. And I know all the work that was done, I'd never heard of Michael Knowles pulling the trigger. Not saying he's not capable. Anybody's capable. But he was there for a few different killings, not with the Purple Gangs I know of, with Vinny on, I think it might have been 2 hits. He was there, and that was it. And again, I'll still support. And somebody passed a comment, and I like to address this, because everybody knows, can't stand Michael. I don't like him. That's no secret. But again, I'll say, him killing his wife, I believe they were both high on cocaine. He might have been cleaning the gun or got paranoid, and the gun went off by accident, and she got shot. And that's what I believe. It was an accident. So somebody said, well, how could you say that? That, he shot his... But that's what I believe. That's the truth. That's what I believe is the truth, because I don't think he would shoot his wife. Just to shoot her makes no sense. And then bring her to the emergency room. But, it is what it is. Next question, please.
From Scotty Giupolini. Did you do time in MDC with Jackie DeRose or Ali Persico or any other gangsters in MDC?
Yeah, actually, what the government did, MDC Brooklyn, we'll clarify that, which is a metropolitan holding facility. You have inmates that are not sentenced, they're pre-trial, which means they're fighting their case. And then you have people that come down on writs that are sentenced trying to get their cases overturned. When they first locked me up, I was put under the SAMS Act. 4 months in the hole. When they released me from segregation, I think I went to the fourth floor. You have 3 pods. They're separate from one another. The pod they put me in, there was other Italians there. They moved the other Italians out. They left Quiet Dom in there. Because the government probably felt, let's put them together because I was the number 1 suspect for killing Quiet Dom's son. People will find out at a later date. That I'm saving. I'm saving that story. And so they put us both together. And when I first came into the unit, first person I saw was Supreme, Kenneth McGriff. Came up to me, hugged me. Dom, I'll make a big basket for you. And I asked him, what Italians are here? He said, it's funny because there was about 4 or 5 Italians. They moved them out and they left Quiet Dom in here by himself. I said, which cell's he in? Pointed to his cell, went in there, spoke to him. Could you go back to the question? Did you lose it? Okay, I'm getting a look like, oh, what'd you do? Oh, okay, thank you. So I guess the government wanted to see what would happen now. Here comes Dominic Sicali, who killed Quiet Dom's son. Dom is there, the boss of the Genovese crime family, acting boss. Let's see what's going to happen now in this prison with them 2 together. Nothing happened. We're very, very close friends. Very close. So after that time, maybe 2 months, then they started moving guys in. Ali Boy Persico was one of them. Came in, nice guy, was fighting his case, came down, quiet, and played a lot of mahjong. So I was with him. And like I said, nice guy, kept to himself. So yes, I was with him.
All right, the next is from JB Weld. Thank you for the contribution. It says, any dealings or stories with Librano Bellomo, purported current Genovese boss?
Barney Bellomo? Were you talking Barney or Librano? Joey?
Librano. It says Librano. Liberio.
Okay.
Bellomo, purported current Genovese boss. Any dealings or stories?
No, I had no dealings with him. When I was out, he was away. He was locked up. And I just heard, great guy, quiet, very well educated, sharp. And he was groomed at one time before his arrest to take over the Genovese crime family. That's what I was told.
Reels. Hey, Dom, can you talk about the incident with Quiet Dom's son and Vinny's son?
I'll be talking about that in a future podcast. We already have it in the queue. But I'll just let everybody know, there wasn't no incident with Vinny's son, Vincent Jr. He just happened to show up, wrong place, wrong time, but he never had an incident with that kid. It was me. I'm the one who had the incident. So stay tuned for that one.
All right, here's another question from Pasta. Thanks for the contribution. Dom, you think the mob would ever leave the crime behind and transition into a legit entity closer to a fraternal organization?
Yes, Mafia, the New Day, New Life, New Mafia, the Sicali Family Inc. has transitioned where number 1 rule that you take in our family, no criminal activity. We have attorneys, businessmen, businesswomen. We all act as one, united as one, and we help each other on the legal aspect as far as businesses, just the way the mafia does, without extortion, without violence. If we have to do anything, we have to collect funds or do something, we'll file lawsuits. We do it the right way, and it's ran properly. And that's where we bring back the tradition of the mafia, the origin, to protect its own from outside corrupt forces. So yes, and it can be very lucrative at the end of the day.
I just personally want to follow up with that comment and ask, are you also going to have other former family members, crime family members, or from one family?
Well, we already have former crime family members who cooperated, some heavy hitters too, who are all legit nowadays, just working. Some of them have restaurants, nightclubs, doing the right thing. We're doing some major, major things. And I'll be announcing we have a lot of great content coming out. and find out who my underboss is. So basically vice president, but we're going to use terminologies, boss, underboss, consigliere, capos, and that's going to be our structure. But we're tight. We are extremely tight.
You make things happen.
Quickly.
Alexander Wilson, thank you. What was it about the Philly family where they had 1,000 books and podcasts made about them? Do you have any interaction with them?
Philly family, no. I lost contact with a lot of guys from prison. But when I did get out in, I think it was 1999, I was out in South Jersey, so I was in Philly. I was at the Kentuck place in Center City, Philly. So I got close with a bunch of guys there. But no, there's no more interactions with them. And so I really can't give any responses towards that.
Okay, Arthur Ricario, are you a fan of Big Pun? Any interactions? Came from Soundview in the South Bronx.
Big Pun, absolutely. It's sad that, man passed away. I think he was great. Even Fat Joe, too. Fat Joe is like one of the best because if you really look at his songs, he has hit after hit after hit and everything. But I like his style. I like the way they rolled. And I might even be coming out with some stories about Fat Joe, and I hope he's listening because my boy Chucky, and he knows who I'm talking about. So those will be some interesting stories.
All right, the next one is from FL2396. Thanks for the contribution. Did you ever have any interaction with Teddy Prisco Jr.?
Teddy Persico
Jr.?
Oh, I think I met Teddy one time on the street with Ace, Anthony Aiello, and I'm pretty sure it was at the Garden City Hotel. They had a nightclub over there. And I'm not sure if it was the night. I'm pretty sure that's where I met him. So, and no, really no interactions other than hanging out, having a few drinks.
Riles, thank you, or Reels, thank you for your contribution. Who was the richest made guy you ever met? Legitimate and illegitimate money.
Illegal, I would have to say Sally Avellino. My family was in the waste management business. My grandfather, his brothers. We also had the Rongas, who's also my uncle. They were also in the private sanitation. They had transfer stations and everything. Avellino had a massive, massive business. I was away with him in Schuylkill. At the time, he had, now I'm going back 95 or 97. No, probably 95, 96. And I would say he was worth maybe about $400 million cash. The government had taken away 75% of his waste management company, left him with 25%. And Sally Avellino is the one who taught me about stocks, to trade stocks. Sally Avellino wound up selling the 25% to Allied Waste. And actually, Waste Management, they started a bunch of rats, Wall Street guys got together, telling on the mafia, they concocted a whole big thing, and they became, now you go, I mean, it's disgusting what they did. They just played the whole system, and to their benefit. But they offered Sally, say, $400 or $500 million back then for his routes. Sally said no. Wound up selling it to Allied Waste. I think it was maybe 280 or 300 million. The key was, I think Sally got maybe 100 million cash. Say for 300 million. Sally got 100 million cash. 200 million in stock. The stock was trading at $6 a share. Sally told me, Dom, get involved in stock, open up an account. I'm letting you know the stock's going to go up. I said, okay. He said, once it's known that I'm selling my business, it's going to shoot up. So I went in, I bought in, I got in about $6, $7 a share. Lo and behold, after it was announced, they bought Sally's business. Stock went up to like $28 a share overnight. So I looked at Sally, wow. So picture that. He had 200 million in stock options, how much money he made. So I would say he has to be the richest guy. Should be a billionaire by now, several times over. Illegal. There's a lot of guys. You have Sierra with the Genovese crime family who passed away. Who else? Could you believe I say a ton of guys? I only come up with one. I have to get back to that one, but there are a lot of guys. I know Anthony Bouat made a lot of money back in his day. You just have a slew of guys that were known, big bookmakers, loan sharking. Who else? A lot of guys, but to come off the top of my head, I'm just dumbfounded right now. Sorry about that.
All right, the next question is from JB Weld. Thank you again for the contribution. I know this was before your time, but do you know what Chin was like before being a boss? What was his reputation as a captain? Did the crazy acts start only after he became boss?
From what I heard he was a solid guy, great guy, serious, made a ton of money, was very generous with his group, kept everything tight-knit, always deflected, kept the life the way it was supposed to be, quiet. The crazy act came in the later years when I guess he didn't want to get arrested. And I really don't know too much more about that. Only that I heard when the government came down, when they caught him, I think on a tape, when they figured out it was just an act, which they assumed that. They threatened to arrest, I think, people in his family, start arresting other people, and that's what forced him to take the plea deals, and he did. A man's man, but, towards the end, I don't know why he would ruin his legacy by walking around like a crazy man in a bathrobe peeing on the curb. To me, that's just, if you're going to live the life, act it. Even what I did, don't become a rat. So I took the coward way out, but, I believe him as a boss, he should have never chose that path to do the crazy act, but it was his choice, and I'm sure he had his reasons for it.
David Purcell, love the show, Dom, watching from Dublin, Ireland. Shams Dola Tabadi, I've heard that if a maid family member's dad gets killed in the life by the family that he belongs to, then he can move up, but he can never be a boss because he might want to take revenge as a boss.
I never heard that. And again, look what happened to Paulie Castellano. So it's just, it's a serious life. Treachery is just a knock at the door. It's that dangerous, that bad, that deceitful. 9 times out of 10, the people that do get killed, they're killed by their friends, the people they trust, the inner circle. So it's like, do you trust them or don't you trust them? So that's where the life comes into question. And if somebody kills, a loved one, I know if it was me, I don't care who it is. I'll just keep my mouth shut, and eventually I'll make my move. And that's it. So everybody acts differently. Everybody has different standards. And, you have to respect everybody's ways, but that life is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. And it's your friends that wind up putting the bullet in the back of your head. Next.
Michael Tremmel, hey Dom, well, he said hey John, but I guess he meant hey Dom, can you explain the Bonanno Lucchese beef?
Which one? There's a few of them, but if you're talking about with Matty Madonna calling Michael Knows a rat, and then they stormed the club. Listen, you just don't say things like that. Did Michael do a rat move? Yes, absolutely. Writing a letter to a guy's wife? That just shows he doesn't belong in the life. But what Matty Madonna should have did, wait till he comes home, take him out. Take him out. There's your proof. All those words in that life, again, you're getting involved like women. Oh, you're throwing, it's disgusting. Just act. I know when we were in the life, I didn't tell anybody my feelings. I wouldn't talk. I'd be quiet because I know what I'm going to do. Vinny would be quiet. He knows what he's going to do. There's so many other people out there. sometimes that's when you have to worry, when people don't say anything. So, next.
Bennett Joseph. I enjoyed your shows on the Telemundo Aniban incident. I'm impressed that you were able to not revert to your prior ways in dealing with the jerk. How hard was it to restrain yourself?
Extremely hard, and you know what? I would have been the biggest fool. Definitely, I would have got away with it. I know for 1,000% sure. Easy target. Could have lured him real easily, and I know how to evade what I would have to do, and they would have never found him. That I guarantee you. But it was difficult too not to act. But I felt I turned my life around. I can't be a hypocrite. So the only time that somebody will see a different side of me, anybody tries to harm me or my family, my loved ones, all bets are off. I mean, we're gonna go. We're gonna go. I made my peace and that's it. But aside from that, I've turned my life around. Violence is not the way. Is definitely not the way. And we just go at it legally. That scumbag, Anibal Soto, he's just a piece of shit, piece of garbage. And hopefully the courts will see it. He'll get his day, even with Telemundo, NBC. They feel they're the giants. They could cover everything up with their non-disclosures, their umbrella, because they're corporate umbrella. But we got testimony, we got affidavits, that's newly discovered evidence because of our subpoena power. And hopefully, we'll have our day in court. But if not, then stay tuned for the book.
BK Sal Crook. Do you know Quiet Dom's son? Thanks for your contribution.
Thank you. I knew Quiet Dom's son on 2 occasions. One was at Vintage Realty that day when the cops showed up. And then afterwards with Robert Milano, Vinny Basciano, Michael Mancuso, myself. And then that was it. My father knew him very well, used to party with him. The kid was a drug addict. So was my father, so that was his friend. And then we wound up missing on Father's Day in the morning. He was taken off the streets. So stay tuned. That story will be coming.
All right, Dom, do you know Mikey Meldish? My father told me everyone was intimidated by him, but my pop loved him.
Yes, I did have interactions with Michael Melnish when I was out there. I thought he was a great guy. I liked him. I saw him when he was straight and when he started drinking. So different characteristics, but even when he drank, he might have gotten a little obnoxious, into himself. But he always knew who we were. When I say we, Bruno, Vinny, myself. Sometimes when people drink and they get overly obnoxious, they're boisterous with other people and they're being cocky, disrespectful. But then there's a group of killers over there in that corner. They watch their P's and Q's. And that was a scenario. But I liked him, got along with him. Yes, dangerous guy, especially when they drank and they did their drugs. That's when you really have to watch out for them. But they always knew where to take the shot, where not to take the shot.
Alexander Wilson, thank you again. Vinny was transformed from the ADX Supermax, a place that Sammy the Bull said was the worse than a dog kennel, to USP Coleman in March. Is that a good move?
Yes. Funny story. I got detoured and I passed Coleman. As I'm driving, I knew Vinny was there. I'm like, oh my God, if he only knew I was about 3 football fields away from him. Felt like yelling over the wall, hey Vinny! But it is a better move for him. I hope, goes down to an FCI closer to home so he could see his wife, kids, grandkids. And I do wish him the best. And, jail is not hard. Everybody thinks jail's the end of the day. Jail's easy. It's like hanging out with the guys on the street. You're playing cards, you're watching TV, you're working out, who's cooking, who's BSing. And then you go watch them play football, basketball, all the sports, the activities. It's just like a big camp hanging out. Everybody's having fun. So, the only thing you miss is not having your women with you and not going out, out partying in the streets. But you can make the best out of it. So I always did good time, especially with the guys around you. You can have a blast. So I wish him the best.
This is a question that says, Madonna has life in prison, correct?
Manny Madonna, I think he did get life. He just got life. But the guy's almost 80, I think. So really, how much longer is he going to live? Yeah, I think he did because of the Melnish murder he got convicted of. So stand-up guy, can't take it away from him. So old timer now. I met him in a middle-aged man, him and Herbie Sperling in Lewisburg. And, stand-up guy, can never take that away from him, even though I don't like him. But it is what it is. He'll be dying in prison, more than likely. Next.
Sorry, this is jumping. The questions
all
are
right.
coming in.
That quick?
Dom, did you have any dealings with the Decavalcanti family from Jersey?
The Cavalcanti family. Only in prison. Never out there on the streets. No, we had our own crews in Jersey as far as guys in the Bonanno crime family. Then Gambinos, but no, never the Devacantis.
All right, this is, how the hell did you conceal a 45? I have one. It's almost impossible without people knowing that you have one. Well, I'll summarize.
Wait, I'm going to stop you at that. Are you really joking me? This is not a revolver or a Magnum where you have the whole cylinder sticking out. It's a 45. Yeah, it's long. You conceal it. You put it in your waistband or behind your back. So stop. Stop with the ignorant questions. I mean, what is it, about this thick? This thick. It's not a revolver like a Magnum. You have a barrel like this, the cylinder. So come on, stop. Really? How can you conceal it? Trust me. Give me a 45. I'll show you how I can conceal it. Go ahead. You could continue with that question. No, don't even continue it. Guy's a moron. It's ridiculous. How can I conceal it? So nobody gets shot with a 45. Nobody got shot with a Glock. Really? It's so stupid. Go ahead. Next. Give me a drink. Give me some EG. Let me take some EG.
Southie 31, how much does it cost to ask a question? Well, I just asked your question.
Just
and
ask.
it didn't
Just
cost
ask.
you
Just
anything.
ask. It costs nothing. Zero. This is a freebie. Wait till I go on Patreon. No, I'm not even going to go on Patreon. No, I shouldn't say that. Who knows where I'll wind up.
William Wallace Brown. Hey, Dom, do you know Joe Beef? Went away at 23, did 27 years in the state, just recently came home. God bless you and your pal, yours, pal.
Who? Joe? Joe what?
Joe Beef.
Beef.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm lost with Joe Beef.
Do you know Joe Beef?
I don't know if you could rephrase it or tell me Joe, some other word for Joe. I probably do.
This has been coming up a few times, so I'm just going to ask if you want to talk about it or you want to wait. They're asking about Gene Borello. There's a couple different questions on what you feel about him, anything.
Go ahead, you could ask and then...
Well, just say, what are your feelings on him?
Okay, my feelings with Gene from what I know in the paper, and I'm going to keep it at that. I'll go more into a story with Gene after his sentencing and everything's up. It's sad because Gene does have a lot of potential. Tough kid. Was stand up at one time, wound up cooperating, has his reasons. Just needs guidance from what I see. Lack of that guidance, that respect for somebody. He has to stay away from these girls out there, these gold diggers that are just jamming him up left and right, getting involved with that. He has to settle down a little bit. And hopefully, he'll wise up. But I'll go more into detail with Gene after if he gets sentenced, whatever happens to him. But I wish him the best. Love Gene. Great young man. Just still misled. Has to find his way.
All right, another question is, I heard Quiet Time gave the okay for his son to go. Is that true? I can't wait to hear that story, honestly.
2 words. Stay tuned.
Oh, and just and one more thing, just so you know, you're over 500 people are watching right now. So
Oh, move up. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. That's Kerry. I know he has like 400 phones he's turning on, right? I have my guy says bumping up the numbers in the back.
Paint Boleros. Any stories about the clan America formed in Manhattan by Bosco, boss of Westies?
I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I wish I could answer.
this is, did Dom do any business with the Buffalo family?
I didn't do any business with Buffalo, but I was with the main guy up there, Joe Rossi. Probably passed away by now. Did a lot of time with him. I used to call him Mr. Magoo. When we were in there, we used to go, "Hey, Waldo!" I had a lot of fun with him. You know, always breaking balls. Nice guy, though.
From James O'Connor. Dom, what's the deal with the Roadrunner tattoo?
Oh, you like it? This is
did-
my new tat.
He didn't say he liked it. He said, what's the deal?
Okay, it's staying colorful, light. I'll go into all my tattoos growing up, and might as well go into it now a little bit. I had all violent tattoos: Grim Reaper, Executioner with Who's Next, a machine gun with a silencer, a devil with an axe. So they were all ugly tattoos. When I came home, I was getting them all lasered, and I went for 15, 20 treatments. And don't believe them. Doesn't go away. It's faded. It looked like I had like black and blue marks on my arms. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do something different. On this side of my body, from here, my chest to my back, all biblical, and it's all shading. And on this side of my body, all colorful art, like bright, bright colors. This is it. This is all going to be all bright colors over here. And I just wanted to keep it light, cartoonist. I have some over here. Back here, we'll go into more to show everybody. But I just wanted to keep it light, airy, and I like the cartoon characters. I want the bright colors on one side and the shading on the other, so I have contrast and be different. I'm going to be me.
Someone's saying that since you're in Florida, you should do a fan meetup at Universal Studios.
That's a good thing. See, thank you. Just tell my team here. We could figure it out. We could do something. But no, I'm going to be scheduling something where I would like to do a talk. It'll be a limited group. Of course, we're going to check heavily when they do sign up and come in with protection, because I'm not going to put myself out there. I'm not stupid to get killed, which it could happen. But I would definitely love to do a lecture face-to-face with people and maybe try to educate about the life, the pros and cons. Because there are some pros to the life, but more cons than pros. And I'd like to educate the kids today, too. Try to get out of the streets. And you have too many opportunities legitimately.
Alexander Wilson, thanks for the contribution. This question is, what did the family think when members of the Bonanno family took legal action against the movie Donnie Brasco? Was that frowned upon?
This is the first I'm hearing of it. I'm sure it was frowned upon, the movie, but listen, you could stop anything real quick, especially in the mafia life. And if I hear, say, I'll use my guy over here, Lee, as an example. Lee's making a movie about me, and I'm the old Dominic Sicali, and he's making a movie about Vinny, Basciano, Bruno, and myself, and trying to depict something. We'll grab Lee so quick, like in The Godfather, when they sent the horse's head in the producer's bed, so his nephew could get the part in the movie. We would let Lee know real quick, don't do this movie, you have serious repercussions. And they would stop the movie. So going legal, this is the first I'm hearing of it. I've never heard of that, but possibility could be true, but this is the first I'm hearing of it. But there's other ways when you're in the mafia to settle things.
You have a George Borukinski. I know Dom for 25 years since we played basketball every day after school.
Hey, yes. George and his brother, like, I don't know, I'm sure you guys sprout. I think you did. Last time I saw you, you did sprout up. But quick, they were short. Oh my God. And if I'm correct, the gel eyes, we used to call you guys, right? You could respond back. But hope all is well with you and your family, your brother. And yes, we used to play a lot of ball in the backyard. That was my sport, basketball.
Tony Max asking Dom, any dealings with Rob from Hazel or his store, All Sorts of Sports?
Any dealings with Rob? I have stories with Rob Bascula. We very close. And even Rob told me, because we wound up meeting up in Farrington, New Jersey. And actually, that's where I had the correction officer who became my wife, and I hooked him up with a correction officer. I was young, in my 20s, and correction females, it's like, those are stories, good jail stories. But with Rob, he told me, when I'll just keep it to one quick story with him. He's like, Dom, and Rob did blow up, selling a lot of kilos of cocaine, got jammed up in a case. Somebody tried throwing a label on him, wasn't true. It was just dirty what they did. And I want to say it came from Hippie too. Hippie threw a label on him that he was a rat. Guy did 20 years, wasn't a rat. Rob Bascula is not a rat. But even with that, he told me a story. He says, Dom, what made me get involved in the life, I remember you had an IROC, brand new IROC. Or no, my Trans Am, I'm sorry. I had a Trans Am. And you picked me up, and there was a ton of money in the back. And you took me on a few of your deliveries because I had locations where I dropped stuff off, meet the customers. And he said, I saw all the money in the back of your car, and I said, I want that. I want that. And that's what's bad about the streets. You know, and you just get people, they want more, or they see something, somebody's making quick money. The motorcycles, the cars, the jewelry, not working, just throwing money all over the place, and that's what sucks in the younger generation. It sucked Robert in, but very good young kid, stand-up kid. Too bad we're on different sides. Hopefully, I haven't seen him in the papers. Rob, stay out of trouble. As you know, life is garbage. Stay away from it and stay out of trouble. Proud of you.
Rodrigo Gonzalez Flores, salute from Chile. Paint Boleros, he keeps asking the same question. Any stories about Westies, Boss Bosco clan, American formed by Serbians in Manhattan?
No, I have no stories about the Westies. I know the Westies were around the Gambino crime family. I heard they like to drink, party, and they were very, very dangerous. But I don't have any stories. The only Westie I was around was Kevin Kelly. That was in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Man's man. Great, great guy. Always had my back. I never even had to ask. He knew that there was a situation. Got my back. Stick together. Really good guy. So.
All right, Dom, what do you think about Vinny Acero?
Vinny Acero. At the time when we were in the life, Vinny Acero was basically shelved. So he wasn't coming around. I got to know his son, Jerry Acero, which I love. Great guy. Conducted himself properly. Knows the life inside and out. Vinny, from what I heard, very loud, obnoxious. Will put his hands on somebody real quick. Hot-tempered. So, I like that. And Gene Borello was close with Vinny Acero. And maybe that's why he's a little too much out of control, because Jerry Acero loves antics, loves going out there cracking people. And, I think Gene was schooled the wrong way. Next.
John Mack asks, Madonna has life in prison, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And Mo asked, who killed Meldish?
Who killed Melnish? It was in the papers, so I really don't know personally who killed him, who pulled the trigger, other than the guys who ordered it. So,
Nick Casella, do you have any Staten Island stories? Did you know Vito Balsamo?
Vito Balsamo, no. I didn't know him personally, I don't think. Staten Island stories, not really. I think I was only out there a few times. There was a club out there where supposedly a lot of wannabes, wise guys go. I think I went there one time. It was during the day. They told me, Dom, you have to come here at night, and I never made it out there.
Dom, did you ever meet Tommy Karate?
No, I never met Tommy. If I would have met him, it would have been the prison system, federal system, and we never met. No. I wish I did, though. So I heard, I like tough guys, and I think we would definitely gravitated to one another.
AJ, did you ever meet Vinny's partner, Al Batoni?
No, I never met Al, but stay tuned. We have a lot of Al Batone stories, and it's sad. If I'm correct from what Vinny told me, their case, the Blue Thunder, was one of the biggest heroin cases in New York, and everybody was convicted, the 27 people, except Vinny Basciano, and I think Larry Weinstein were the two that were acquitted on that case.
It's funny you brought that up because that was actually the next question. Were you around when Vinny was on the Blue Thunder case with Big Al and the crew? So that was actually the question.
Yeah, I was actually in jail when that whole case transpired, but Vinny was actually worried about Joe Massino killing him because it was a heroin case and he was a made guy. And Angelo Prisco actually stuck up for Vinny. Really stuck up for Vinny. They were close. So stay tuned. I got a lot of stories with that coming up.
Did you know the Bonanno guy who got shot and killed about 2007? Anthony Secaficio, I think was his name or something.
I probably did know him, but I can't say yes and I can't say no because I don't know. I don't see his picture, and there's a lot of guys. But so to say, I really don't know at this point.
Tony Mack, Dom, any dealings with Rob from Hazel Towers or his store? All
Yeah, you
sorts
just
of...
said that.
Oh, I
You already
did. Oh,
asked
I'm
that.
sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. These keep bouncing around.
That's all right. Do you want to do about 3 more? And
Did you know, this is from Steven, did you know a lot of guys that had murders that never been caught before?
absolutely. Listen, stay tuned. They'll be coming out, but I could say this: Vinny has 12 bodies under his belt, 13, but 12 of them. So and nobody would have ever suspected it. That many.
This question is, where do you see the mob in 10 to 15 years? Do you still see it being around?
It's still going to be around. They'll just go, if they're smart, they'll go more underground like the Genovese crime family did. Of course, it still could be very lucrative.
Okay. I just want to make a comment because a few of them feel that we skip over, is that when so many questions come in,
Okay.
we can't hold it. It bounces, like I lose the question completely. Like it's happening now.
All right. So then we'll stay on a little bit longer then.
That's why if you contribute, we'll definitely get to you.
Oh, if you contribute. I like that. See? That's why it's having smart people around you. See, contribute and it goes right up to the top. You don't have to worry about it.
Rails. Hey, Dom.
Send the penny.
Who was the person in the life that you definitely had to watch your back with? Capable, wise.
Capable wise. A lot of guys. We could go. Take Johnny Joe, for instance. Back in the day, and you'll hear the Johnny Joe story, maybe on my next live, what I'll do. It's like I said, I was younger, so Johnny Joe will say, what's Dominic talking about? But then when I'll tell the story, it'll be, Dominic was there, he knew. That dangerous. But you're talking about, you're hanging out, you're drinking, you're partying. So, now I'm sure with age, everybody calms down. I can't say everybody because Vinny Assaro's still out there. But 90% of the guys with age, you calm down. but he was dangerous. Even Demon, Stephen DeLuca, scared shit of Johnny Joe. I mean, petrified. When Johnny Joe reached out to him about me when I was younger and said, hey, you know, don't, if you have any intentions with this kid doing anything, you better stay away from him. Stephen immediately found me, and, hey, what's going on? Befriended me real quick because of Johnny Joe. And then later on, of course, after we became friends, well, that's off the table. But he was petrified of you because Johnny Joe was so unstable. One time, and I'll share this, we're at a bar. It was called Doubles, East Tremont. Bikers would go there, just riffraff, it was known. And we had an altercation. Stephen had a sawed-off shotgun. The thing was, and I loved this gun. I mean, it was maybe about this big, real thin. I mean, I never saw a sawed-off shotgun that thin. He had that. I think I had a 9mm on me. And we put it up in different parts of the bar, not to have weapons on us. And Stephen put his real close by his leg. I'm like, what's that about? He says, I don't trust Johnny Joe. That guy's so unstable. Like, I want to be close to my weapon, knowing. I said, okay. But nothing, no altercation. The guys who we were waiting on didn't come into the place that night. So we got over. But I would say Johnny Joe.
All right. Dom, did you know that Joey Cupcakes is currently doing 18 years for stabbing a guy up?
I didn't know the exact time he was doing, but yes, I do know. I saw the video somewhere, I think, on the internet. Ridiculous. Like, just shows. And Joey was a little off-centered after he got convicted. Well, he killed his best friend over money, set him up over jealousy. But even when he went away, I heard he just lost his mind. And I'm pretty sure, if I heard correctly, something happened with him in Rikers Island. He got jumped at one time, and Joey fights. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but you know, when you get jumped, I'm not sure if he got stabbed or whatever happened, but I know it was out there that when those guys came home, and I think they tuned Joey up pretty bad. When those two guys came home, the father killed both of them. His father was a dangerous piece of work, Angelo Cheesecake, very dangerous. That even when he would get into the car, myself, my Uncle Peter, would not sit in the front seat, always sat in the back. And then my uncle said, that's because he doesn't want anybody, didn't trust anybody. They're sitting behind him. He didn't care who it was. Always sat in the back seat, so nobody could put a bullet in the back of his head.
Okay, from Andrew Marsigliano. Hey, Dom, I love listening to your podcast. I grew up around the life, but not in. I know a lot of the same people you've mentioned in your podcast. And then from Vibe Check Money. Dom, did you know Richie Cindy recently got busted in Schenectady, New York case?
Richie. I don't know about Richie, no. I can't say I do know.
Alexander Wilson, again, thank you for your contribution. John, Kursasani took legal action against the Donnie Brasco film because it showed him committing crimes that he was acquitted for. He was the only guy that could lift Big Trin body when he was took out.
Oh, wow. Okay, no, it's the first. But thank you for sharing that. It's greatly appreciated with that one. Yeah, Big Trin, from what Vinny told me, massive guy that Vinny said one time, Big Trin grabbed the guy, one hand, and like just pinned him up against the wall. He said the guy had to weigh like 190 pounds. Now, don't get me wrong. People like weightlifting, like I'll lift weights. 190 pounds is nothing. But when you're grabbing a person, it's a lot of weight. Listen, even the George Keogh murder, that my first body, killed him in a motel room. Taking that body out, and George weighed maybe about 220. It took three of us to pick him up, throw him into the trunk, and it was hard, dead weight. So I can imagine picking up Big Trins. I heard he weighed if not 300, over 300 pounds. Big boy. So, yes.
All right, here's one for you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I got a smirk from you, so I can only imagine.
Any good marital advice for a fellow Italian?
Marital advice. Oh, wow. Drink a lot of E.G. vodka. A lot. Drink a lot. Okay.
No, I'm waiting for
we
the
could
answer.
still go.
I'm waiting for
I
the
said
answer.
drink a lot of vodka.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's what they say. I tried. Listen, I'm not even going to go there. You're going to get me in trouble for that one. But I could just say, you know what? Open up the door for your wife when you're going into the car, going in a restaurant, pull out her chair, make her feel like a lady. And I do that all the time. And there's times I'll yell at my wife, hey, let me open up the door. What I tend to forget when we're at a restaurant or at a bar in a restaurant, and I'll order a drink and hers is maybe a quarter full. Hey, you don't order my drink? I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go. So make sure you order. And I always mess up with that. But then I get away with it. I'm like, honey, I don't want you drinking that much. So, yeah, bullshit. Just get me another drink. But just be a gentleman with your wife, and that's it. I learned to bite my tongue now, where I don't even say anything. So go ahead and see. I have to behave because I'm getting looks already.
No, it's just don't listen. It's pay attention. And don't sigh.
She's like, bitch, you better stop sighing. Think I don't know?
Thank you, Donnie F, for saying I'm doing a great job.
Okay,
He doesn't
great
know-
job.
He doesn't know my name.
Maddie, that's Maddie.
Yeah.
I won't expose her real name. She doesn't like it. Right, Matilda?
James Cairns. Did Dom do business with the Tanglewood boys?
No, I never did business. It was different eras. I was locked up, and then they got locked up. Heard a lot about them. Dangerous group. Just wild group of guys. So I would have definitely fit right in with them. But no, I didn't do any business with them. Not that I know of.
All right, this is from JB Wald. Thanks for the contribution. Who's the most dangerous made guy out there when you were in the life? Was there anyone as dangerous as Greg Scarpa?
Scarpa.
Or DiMeo when you were active?
Now those guys, when I don't consider them dangerous. Well, you know they're dangerous. They're capable. Yeah, dangerous. It's easy again to walk somebody in and you kill them. You know, that's not that difficult to do. When people tell me dangerous, I think about guys on the street guys like Vinny. You don't know when it's coming. Guys like Roy DeMeo, yeah, they brought people in. They had massive body count. Yeah, they're dangerous in that right. But those are guys, when you hear about them and you see them, you already know, okay, we have to be on our P's and Q's with them so we don't know what's going on. What intrigued me more, guys like Vinny, and there's a slew of other guys. I'm not even going to get into that. I'll go into a later date. You don't know they're killers. Those are the ones you have to watch out for. You only assume, like, oh, this guy capable? Nah, he's not capable. Guys like Tough Tony, who people, oh, he's such a sweetheart of a guy. Yeah, he's a sweetheart of a guy. You're not. Those are guys that I worry about. Guys like that caliber.
All right, so this question is, hey Dom, in your videos, sometimes you wear nice shirts or a casual t-shirt. So what is your style nowadays and back in the days?
Okay, back in the days. My style, my wife, you hear the chuckle from my wife. When I tell you, we're fortunate enough, we have a nice home, different levels of the house. And in the guest bedroom, I have one guest bedroom loaded with clothes. Closets loaded with clothes. Get away. I mean, just bins. And she's like, you need to throw stuff out. I'm not throwing anything out. And I got stuff I haven't even worn yet, going back 20 years. And I wear the same sweats every day. She's like, you gotta be kidding me. Those sweats again, those are my comfort clothes. When I was in the life in the neighborhood, baseball caps, sweat clothes, short sets, wouldn't dress up. when I go out bouncing around to the city, Queens, neighborhoods where they don't know me, yes, I'm dressing up, dressed nice. And then sometimes if we got doing a nightcap, coming home at 2 in the morning, stop at Frenchie's that used to be on Tremont Avenue, or my lounge. We had a lounge, Club Envy, or Bar Envy, whatever, or Envy Lounge on Tremont. I'd stop in, then people would see me dressed up. But or if we went to an after hours, I'd be dressed up, banging around. But other than that, every day in the neighborhood, nah, I just regular clothes. Always had a nice watch on. Baseball cap, no baseball cap, shadow, it didn't matter.
And are you the same today?
Pretty much, same thing. Once in a while I'll have a diamond chain on or something small in my shirt. I don't flash. Just a nice watch, always a nice watch. I could be wearing ripped sweats. I go to the gym, my sweats are ripped, my shirts are ripped, coming off. Like, even when I go take it off, I'm hearing it rip. It's like, oh, these are my comfort shirts. But just is what it is.
So James Cairns, does Dom think ex-felons should get their Second Amendment rights back?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I'm actually having my legal team look into it to see. I would love to bear arms again. Do it the right way. I think I've proven myself over 10 years home, not a parking ticket, not even a citation, anything. So yes, I definitely think, why not? Why not? If I want, I could go get them now. I could have firearms up the ass. Like, really. The black market, I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I think they should. If people do prove themselves, there should be a limitation as far as when were you convicted, when. Yeah, our rights should be instaured. So I definitely believe in that.
All right, this question is, how many murders or conspiracy to commit did you cop to?
3 homicides, conspiracies were up there because, and that was one good thing about Joe. He pulled Vinny's reins back because there was a lot of people going, especially the Albanians. The Albanians alone, there was 5 or 7 of them we were taking out at once. Had them pegged, set up perfect. They were going. So I would say 3 bodies, maybe about 15 attempted murders with solicitation to murder. Nah.
I'm going to answer this one. One never knows from Bella. Damn. Dom, you have more clothes than I do. You have more clothes do you have more clothes than your wife? Yeah, he does. I was able to fit all of my clothing in one pretty large closet. We have 2 spare bedrooms.
I just said, yeah.
And yeah.
And I hear shit every day, Bella.
I threaten him.
You have no idea.
They've got to go.
You have no idea.
They've got
a spare bedroom where we have no guests.
They've got to go or
But
be put away.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Mm-hmm. Thank God you didn't ask about my sneakers and my shoe collection.
Oh.
We didn't want to go there. But go ahead.
I've been
so those are my vices.
I've been
I don't think that's
secretly
bad.
sending his clothes to the Goodwill.
Add one more to my body count.
All right, this question is from Freddie. Hey, son, I see you rocking that AP. Salute. How do you feel?
Damn, who was that? Freddie?
Freddie.
Freddie, you're good, Freddie.
And it says, how do you feel about Gene Burrell laughing, saying all wise guys are weak today? He grew up in the wrong era, the 80s and 90s era. Thoughts?
Gene's right, though. This day and age, wise guys, they are weak. I mean, they just, I don't know, it's a different era. So he is right. So I'll go into more detail after he's sentenced. Okay, we're going to take one more question and then it's a wrap. Maybe 2. One from the lady, one from the gentleman.
James Cairns, does Dom plan on doing any more shows with Jeff Nadu?
Yes, I'll definitely do more with Jeff. He's a gentleman. I like the way Jeff conducts himself. Really good guy, and I would definitely love to even collaborate with Jeff, where maybe we do our own show together, branch off. I don't want to just keep mob genre. I want to expand. I would definitely like to do, and I'm going to probably come out eventually soon with a mob TV where we're doing talk shows every single day. Maybe start off with 20 minutes to a half hour, see how that works. And we'll expound on mafia topics. And also, I want to talk about current events, past, present, and future, what's out there, and give my opinion and thoughts.
All right, so we'll make this the last question. What's the biggest difference you see from living in the Bronx compared to where you live now? How's the food?
Food's excellent. This is not in Goodfellas where Henry Hill is in bumfuck somewhere with the tomato sauce. Food's great. We will be announcing the restaurants that we have. My wife is going like this so-so with the food. But no, the restaurants we frequent, they're pretty good. We've been through restaurants so-so. I gotta say that. Where you walk in, how's the Italian food? Oh, we're the best. We're the best. We taste it. We're like, oh my God, it's horrible. But as far as the Bronx, don't miss it. Neighborhood has changed. I was back up there. Like I said, there was one loudmouth when I went away. Thought he was tough with a female cousin of mine talking some shit. And immediately when I got out, I was still on supervised release probation. First trip up there, I went looking for him, went to an establishment where he frequents and asked for him. Well, tell him so-and-so is here. And, I never ran to the guy, but we're gonna set that record straight. Like, you want to go to a woman, come to me. Here I am. I don't run or hide from anybody. And you want to start going with family members? No, you don't want to go there. So thank God nothing transpired after that. Never heard him open up his mouth again. And that's it. But, I just don't like bullies. I never was a bully. Always treated people with respect. I even walked away from people like that. God, dude, I'll eat you up. Like, just have a good day. Wish you the best. Well, you're this, you're that. Yeah, okay, wonderful. Have a good day. I'd walk away. Somebody goes to touch my arm, put their hands on me, different story. But I'll take one more question. This vodka is really good today.
From Flatbush. Dom, any dealings or stories of the Jersey family shout out from Brooklyn, brother?
No, there's dealings with people in Jersey, yes. But nothing. Yeah, one more.
Well, you had one guy, and I'm trying.
Anything bad? Any nasty comment?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, give me the nasty one.
There was one at the beginning that said, "Hey, how do you find inner peace with after being a hypocrite? How do you find inner peace?" It was something like that.
Listen, it wasn't easy, and everybody's different. So, hypocrite in what sense? The hypocrites that are out there are the made men that are accepting rats like myself around them because they're giving them money. Those are the hypocrites. Excuse me. I'm standing up for myself. I stood up for myself. I have my position. That's it. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm out here now on YouTube, social media. That's it. It is what it is. So, and it shows I'm not a hypocrite because I didn't take out Anibal Soto. So he's walking around, never threatened him, never threatened anybody since I've been home. Except the one guy that I originally, as soon as I got out, went to my female cousin, went up there and I handled it. But other than that, I don't do anything wrong, anything illegal, so I'm not a hypocrite. So
S.J. Shark said, "Will you have Sammy as a guest?"
Absolutely, stay tuned. Sammy's coming out and I'm going to promote it now. We did a sit down together. Sammy is the pod father. We had a blast, and that should be coming out soon. I think his release, he did one with Michael. Alec Baldwin was just released. I put it on my Instagram, promoting it for him. He has, what's it called? Our Thing TV. So go see Sammy excellent, especially when our podcast comes out. Our sit down, the table in the back. Great. It should be out, I would say, within the next 30 days. I'll find out. I'll let you guys know next week when we come live at you again. Next week we're doing Friday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, next week it'll be Friday. Anything changes, just look at our social media. We'll put it out there. This is a little crazy month for me, especially now. I'll be celebrating my daughter's birthday, so I'm going to be bouncing all over the place. But we're going to try to stay consistent next Friday, 12 p.m. Be there. Again, thank you, everybody. It's greatly appreciated. egvodka.com. Also, we have an offer with EG Vodka. We're waiting on our letter of intent. Some big companies looking to buy us out. So if anybody has any connections, anybody wants to come in, we'll take pricing to buy out the vodka company. We've won awards already, taste test awards, and I think it was Grey Goose. Was it Grey Goose we had the taste test with?
A few of them.
I think we won 4 out of 5 times on a taste test. We have a bunch of awards. Go on the website, check them out. And this will be the ample opportunity for somebody to buy us out if they want to buy out the company. My partners and myself, which we're majority shareholders in the company, put it out there. You get great, I mean, this vodka is hands down. Actually, I'll share, was just with my wife's family over the weekend for Mother's Day. Brought the EG, put it out. There might have been 15, 20 people there. Chilled it, a little bit of ice. They all tasted it. They were blown away. Where we had people came in from California. Where do we get this vodka? They loved it. Great. They said, we drink Tito's. The majority drank Tito's. They're like, this blows Tito's away. I said, I know. We even have, we'll be announcing a sales rep that worked for Tito's. Came to us and said, I love your rosemary lavender. I couldn't say it then because I worked for Tito's. They love it. So EG Vodka, go to egvodka.com, order your vodka, and if you know somebody like a Jay-Z, 50 Cent, anybody that are interested, we will definitely give whoever brokers the deal a nice hefty commission. So with that, everybody have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon. Love all the support. Thank you again. Until then, till next week, peace out.